So the focal point of my mind map here is technological failure, of course, and from this, I what I essentially did was I broke it down. Oh, let me show you the entire mind map first. So the entire mind map looks like this. If I can fit the entire thing on the screen, and it's broken down week by week. So I took each week and broke them down. So those are these main branches that are stemming from here, right? Those were the major topics that we discussed. I thought that made the most amount of sense, and within those topics, I broke them down even further. So week one, we talked about what does it mean for technology to fail, and we talked about these different topics here. And I just took the major topic that I felt was being talked about that day and broke it down to subcomponents. And following that, we talked about this technology failure equate to market failure, and again, in a similar fashion here, I took that topic, broke it down into what I believed was its main subtopics, and then broke those topics down even further. Following this, we talked about the forces that give technology dominance in the market, and within this, again, I broke these down into what I thought were its main components, and then from those, I broke those down further if I felt like it needed it. And within this, you can see that I have this little dotted connection here, and the reason I did this was because I felt like there was some interrelatedness within this, like network externalities affected path dependency affected lock-in affected regimes was affected by path dependency, right? So I kind of had this connection here because I felt like they were all interrelated, and it's kind of like a domino effect. Once you get one, you're getting one of the others. Following the forces that give technology dominance in the market, we talked about social construction of technology, and I again broke it down into what I thought were the main topics being discussed that day, and broke those down further if I could. And you can see that there's no connection within these, but I actually connected to another week, which was the week, our first week, right, where we talked about what does it mean for technology to fail, and we talked about some of these topics. So I thought I'd link them back to the week where we discussed them in more detail, right? And moving on from that, we talked about ANT, so actor network theory, and again, I broke these down to what I thought were the main topics being discussed that day, and then broke those topics down even further if I felt like I could do if I could do that. Following this, we talked about the roles of users in technological destabilization. Yeah, over here. Oops. So this was an interesting week. We talked about users' involvement in technology and producing technology so that there is no disuse or technological abandonment. And I broke those down again into this branch that stemmed from technological failure into sub branches, right? The most important ones that I felt like we talked about, and I broke those topics down even further. Following this week, we talked about the unanticipated and unintended consequences of technology. Another interesting week, and again, those main topics that I felt were discussed during class, I mentioned initially, and then broke those topics down even further. And here you can see I take the topic and I break it down. I break that topic down into sub pieces, and then those sub pieces get broken down even further. So this is probably like one of the more deeper connections that I have here. We talked about accidents and disasters. Yeah, and again, just like the others, broke it down to the main topics here, and then broke those topics down even further. We talked about failure systems and institutional change. In a similar fashion, I broke it down into subtopics, that stem from the branch that stems from technological failure, and then broke those sections down even further. And you can see here a deeper connection than most. And we talked about avoiding failure, one of the more interesting ones, because we talked so much about actual failure in technology, and here we talk about how we can actually avoid that failure. And again, I broke that down into the three subtopics here, and then broke those topics down even further. And that is my mind map. I hope you enjoyed it.